The room fell into a stunned silence the moment Rihanna realized what was happening. Not the kind of silence filled with awkwardness or tension, but the kind that arrives when something so sincere, so deeply intentional, music, lands right in the center of your chest and steals the air from your lungs. She hadn't expected this. Not tonight. Not like this. Earlier that evening had felt ordinary, comfortable, familiar, warm in the way only real love can be. No red carpets, no flashing cameras, no curate moments for the world to dissect. Just really at home, barefoot, wrapped in a soft oversized sweater, hair loosely pulled back, moving through the house with the calm rhythm of a woman who had finally found peace in her own life. And then there was ASAP Rocky watching her, not distracted, not scrolling, not half listening, watching her the way a man does when he's still in awe of the woman beside him. Even after music, years, even after children, even after the world has tried to define their story for them, he had been unusually quiet all evening. Ryrie noticed it. Of course, she always did. At first, she thought he was just tired. Long days, endless responsibilities, the weight of being both a public figure and a present partner. She didn't push, she never did. That mutual respect had become one of the quiet pillars of their relationship. Then he asked her to sit. That alone made her pause. Rocky wasn't dramatic by nature. He didn't orchestrate moments unless they meant something. So when he gently took her hand and guided her toward the couch, something shifted in her expression. Her smile softened, her eyes searched his face, silently asking, "What's going on?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached for a small box resting on the coffee table. Not flashy, not oversized, not screaming luxury, just simple, thoughtful, intentional. Blinked once, twice. "This isn't," she started, stopping herself mid-sentence. Rocky smiled, not a performative smile, not the kind meant for cameras, the kind that carries history, shared struggles, late-night talks, arguments that ended in growth, laughter that healed wounds neither of them spoke about out loud. "It's not what you think," he said softly. That only made her more speechless. He opened the box. Inside wasn't jewelry, not diamonds, not anything the tabloids could assign a price tag to. It was a handwritten letter. Her breath caught immediately. Rocky had always expressed himself through music, rhythm, flow, but writing, raw, unfiltered writing, that was rare, that was vulnerable, that was him stepping completely out of armor. She didn't move. She couldn't. Her hands hovered in midair as he placed the letter gently in her palms. "Read it," he said. Her fingers trembled as she unfolded the paper. The words weren't poetic in the traditional sense. They didn't try to impress. They confessed. He wrote about the first time he realized she wasn't just someone he loved, but someone who made him want to be better. He wrote about watching her become a mother, watching her protect their family with a fierceness that humbled him. He admitted his fears, the pressure, the mistakes, the moments he worried he wasn't enough. And then he wrote the line that broke her completely. "You saved parts of me I didn't even know were drowning." Ryrie froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her eyes filled instantly, tears pooling, threatening to spill. Her chest tightening as emotion crashed into her all at once. She tried to speak, tried to laugh it off, tried to say something, but she couldn't. She was completely speechless. Rocky knelt in front of her. Not to propose, not to perform, just to meet her at eye level. "I don't say it enough," he continued, voice low but steady. "I get caught up trying to be strong, trying to provide, trying to protect. But I need you to know you're not just my partner, you're my home." That's when the tears fell. Not delicate, not controlled, real tears, the kind that come when love reaches a depth you didn't know existed. Ryrie covered her mouth, shaking her head slowly as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her shoulders trembled. Her voice cracked when she finally found it. "You didn't have to do all this," she whispered. Rocky reached up, brushing away a tear with his thumb. "I wanted to." That was the gesture, not the letter alone, not the moment itself, but the choice. The choice to slow down, to speak from the heart, to remind her that even in a world that constantly watches, judges, speculates, she is seen, cherished, chosen. She pulled him into a hug so tight it felt like she was trying to merge their souls together. Her face buried into his shoulder as she cried quietly, the kind of cry that releases years of unspoken emotion. For once, there was no need for words. Later, when the moment passed and the house returned to its gentle calm, Ryrie sat there in silence, still holding the letter, still feeling the echo of his words in her chest, speechless. Not because she had nothing to say, but because love, real, grounded, intentional love, had said everything for her. Ryrie speechless after ASAP. Rocky's heartwarming gesture. The room was unusually quiet, too quiet for someone like Rihanna. No music humming in the background, no assistants moving around, no phone buzzing non-stop, just soft evening lights spilling across the floor, and the faint sound of the city breathing outside the windows. Ryrie stood there, arms crossed loosely over her chest, completely unaware that her life was about to pause in a way she'd never felt before. She thought it was going to be a normal night. She was wrong. Earlier that day, she had been exhausted, not physically but emotionally. The past months had been a whirlwind of motherhood, work, public pressure, and constant expectations. She carried strength like armor, but even armor gets heavy. Ryrie had smiled through interviews, powered through meetings, and kept her signature composure. But deep down, she had been holding a lot in. And ASAP, Rocky noticed. He always noticed. Rocky had always been observant in a way that didn't demand attention. He listened more than he spoke. He watched the small changes, the way her laughter softened when she was tired, the way she stared out windows when her thoughts got heavy, the way she held her breath before responding when emotions threatened to surface. He didn't rush to fix things. He waited. And when the moment came, he acted with intention. That evening, he told her simply, "Come with me, no questions." She laughed it off at first, assuming it was another spontaneous drive or late-night food run. But something in his tone, calm, grounded, certain, made her follow without protest. When they arrived, she immediately froze. The space before her wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. It wasn't designed for cameras or headlines. It was intimate, warm lighting, soft textures, framed photographs she hadn't seen in years, moments from their early days, candid shots of laughter, quiet glances, and memories she didn't even realize he had saved. At the center of the room was a long table, not filled with luxury, but with meaning. Handwritten notes, each one carefully placed, each one addressed to her. Her breath caught. Rocky stood a few steps behind her, hands clasped, eyes locked on her reaction. "I know you're strong," he said quietly, "but you don't always have to be." She picked up the first note with trembling fingers. It talked about the first time he realized she wasn't just iconic, but human. The second spoke about the night she cried without cameras, without makeup, without defenses. Music, another thanked her, not for fame, not for success, but for trust. With every note, Ryrie felt something unravel inside her. This wasn't a gesture meant to impress the world. This was a gesture meant to hold her. By the time she reached the final note, her hands were shaking. Her eyes were glossy. She tried to speak, but no words came out. Her mouth opened slightly, but her voice failed her. She was speechless. Rocky stepped closer, his voice steady, but emotional. "You give so much to everyone. I just wanted to give something, music, back to remind you that you're seen, you're loved, and you're never carrying things alone." Tears slipped down her cheeks. Not dramatic, not performative, just raw, quiet emotion. She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. This wasn't about grand gestures. This was about presence, about effort, about understanding her heart without needing her to explain it. She finally turned to him and whispered, "How do you always know?" He smiled softly, "Because I pay attention." In that moment, the world could have stopped spinning and Ryrie wouldn't have noticed. No applause, no headlines, no viral clips, just two people standing in a shared silence thick with love and intention. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him, holding on longer than usual, like she was grounding herself in the moment, like she was memorizing the feeling. Later that night, she would sit quietly, still processing it all, still stunned, still emotional, still unable to fully put into words what that gesture meant to her. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just romance. This was partnership. This was emotional safety. This was love that didn't need to be loud to be powerful. And for once, Rihanna, the woman known for her confidence, her voice, her dominance, had nothing to say. Because sometimes the most heartwarming gestures don't leave you crying. They leave you speechless. Why? For speech. Foreign, music and singing, speech. Foreign speech. Foreign speech. Why you for speech? For. Foreign. Foreign. Why?